Danny, Jasmine, and Charmaine. We are also streaming this live on Facebook. This will be good for everybody over here as well. Welcome, Danny, Jasmine, and Charmaine. Thank you for your time. And Kelvin, good to have you join us as well. Instead of me doing the honors of the introductions, I might get you all to introduce each other. How about that? That should be quite interesting. We've never done that one before. So we might kick it off with Jasmine with a big, sweet, broad smile to introduce one of the other board of advisors.
Hey, just because we smile doesn't mean we get victimized, okay? That's not fair.
No. It's not victimization. It's the allure of the welcoming smile in it.
Well, thanks, Fang. Welcome, everybody. If you've just only heard of the EFintech School, you are in the right place, and this is a fun place to be in. But most of all, it's also a very good learning place and a good learning community. I would like to introduce Danny, my fellow founding advisory board member. Danny and I go back a little way, even before the EFintech School, simply because we were both in the payment side of things. But I'll let Danny share a little bit about his own stuff. But Danny's always been a cool dude. It's like, come what may, don't worry. Chinese has a saying, "King di lo lei dong pei come" kind of thing. So despite the fact that the industry may have gone through its ups and downs, because that's how long the two of us have been in the industry, but he's always been a calm person, good fun. For those of you who are in KL, Danny enjoys a good beer as well as a good whiskey. But above all, Danny is also very knowledgeable and very experienced in the fintech environment, in the payment especially, because one of his achievements is really helping GHL arrive to where it has today. Over to you, Danny.
Thanks, Jasmine. Thanks, Fang. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the cohort number 4. It's been like what Fang said, it's been a long, well, not that long actually, but it seems to be quite fast, right? Just over 2 years, and now we're on the 4th cohort. Just a bit about myself before I guess I will kind of tai chi to another person. Basically, like what thanks for the kind words, Jasmine, but not to put any but basically I'm jobless now, so whatever she said may not matter now. But anyway, I'm taking some time off since I left JHL Systems end of last year after spending over 10 years there. Now and looking for a job. All right, and I do enjoy the cohort. That's why we are me, Jasmine, and Jenna, and Fang. We were pretty much the founding members. And we are still here. So that's the I think it's a testament to the school that why we still, in spite that I'm jobless, but there's still work to be done. As rather than drinking, I'm here, right? So that says a lot. So welcome again. I would introduce Charmaine Chong, who is with Maybank, the last I heard, and also, I mean, previously was with Samsung Pay, etc. That's why we didn't kind of know each other back then, but our so-called experience and industry has been kind of overlap and all that. That's how I know Charmaine. I used to bump into her on plane rides to or back from Manila as well. So I'll leave it up to Charmaine to give more details to you guys. She joined us, I think, as a board member in the 2nd cohort, if I remember correctly. Yeah, over to you, Charmaine.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, everyone, for the warm welcome. Yes, I'm still with Maybank. Last I heard, I'm still there too. Yeah, so, I think, like, I actually go quite way back with Jasmine, but I'm gonna leave someone else to introduce her, because if I were to talk about her, it's gonna take me more than an hour to talk about her, because she's done a lot of like great works, to be honest. And I guess, how or why I actually decided to be part of this board is also because Jasmine actually invited me to be part of the board. And also I really think that, this is a very great opportunity and great effort to give back to the community because we realize that there is a serious lack of fintech talents in the region, and which is why we'd like to hope that in whatever skills that we have actually acquired along the way, we can help people to understand and also to contribute more to this space really. But maybe what I'll do is that I'll do like a quick introduction of Calvin. So I met Calvin actually whilst I was actually launching the Samsung Pay project when he was actually with Standard Chartered Bank. He's now with SC Ventures, as you all know. But I'll let him, take you guys through in terms of like, what are the exciting and cool things that he's actually doing now. Over to you, Calvin.
Yeah, hi guys. Well, I'm not doing anything exciting or cool. I'm building the banking as a service capability for Standard Chartered Bank globally and spinning that off as a separate and distinct entity for investments. But other than that, it's also a life full of pain. Every day there's a new pain. Every day something explodes in my inbox. So it's all good. You look at my face, I look like I'm 50 already. Very soon you'll be like 60. Give you a few days. So I'll introduce, I guess, in a round robin kind of way to who else who has not been introduced yet? Jasmine.
Jasmine.
I mean, yeah, Jasmine has been introduced, right? So my only thought is that look, I've met Jasmine physically once during the Samsung Pay launch when she was still with Maybank, I think. That was how far back this was. Other than that, it's always been online and virtual. I don't know Jasmine all that well from a personal standpoint, but in the meantime, she's been really, really cool. She's been really, really fun, and she seems to have a wealth of knowledge of the fintech ecosystem, not just in Malaysia, but regionally as well. So my thoughts are this is a fun journey to be on. I hope you learn a lot from this and use that information and knowledge for something bigger and better. As a lot of the people in the past cohorts have done, right? I know a few personally who have done really interesting things. Shout out to Sehat if you guys are on the call.
We are listening live on Facebook, and it is also streamed onto Discord. So I'm sure Team Sehat will be listening to those comments, Calvin. So this will be one of the more fun sessions that is less intense. And as you can see, our board of advisors are human as well. Even if they do appear to have fintech superpowers in the industries that they have been championing. I'd like to kick off this session with a bit of a Q&A session so that you get to understand their personalities, their areas where they are particularly passionate about. Since we're all friends over here, just jump in as and when you feel that the question resonates with you the best. And to kick things off, what kicked your interest in fintech? Open to the floor.
Since I'm always the one smiling, right? So I should start, huh? Well, the genesis of the whole thing was Danny, myself, and Jenna were sitting at a round table, and we say, hey, there is a lack of talent, and there is a need to help people understand a little bit about fintech so that they would actually want to be developed in the environment. And that's how it all started, because that's how we saw some of the pain points. And this was because digital banking is becoming a big thing and all that, all the way back in 2020. Wow, so it feels like a lifetime ago, when Jenna was still in Malaysia and we could still meet face-to-face without a mask. So, but that was a fun journey. I'll let Danny share a little bit about why he decided to come in. For me, it was just talent.
That was the first time I met Jenna. Jenna's been awfully quiet. I think we should go and finger point to her and get her to start talking soon. Then we just had a casual conversation, and then next thing I think a few weeks later, then we spoke separately. Then we did calls and stuff like this. Then the whole pandemic came down, and I've actually only met Jenna face to face once in my life. But it seems like because of all these calls and all these cohorts and everything else that we've done, since I've known her for life, for a long time. So that's how it started. And why talent was one of them. And to me, it's more on the other part is also more on the educational side, for myself, because I only know payments and a few other things back then, and also for the general people, whether you are a student, whether you are a old timer in the banking industry, or someone who's totally out of the financial services. I think that was the education part of it. Whether they actually joined fintech was not that important to me, but at least the appreciation of it. And I think we could actually lend a hand to disseminate whatever we can group together. By and large, I don't think any one of us are doing any sessions for this cohort. You won't be seeing us doing actual content sessions. You got recorded sessions of us, but the idea is to bring in more other experts, more relevant ones. I'm not that relevant now in payments. So to actually deliver different angles, different geographies to everyone. Okay, Jenna, you better say something.
Yeah, I think it's amazing where we did this for 2 years. And now we have, I think the cohort 4 don't know this, but the ambassadors and your alumni are all actually watching in Discord right now. We told them to watch there instead of in Zoom because it'll not be quite full. There'll be like 100 plus of you here. So I think thanks Charmaine, Jasmine, Danny, Calvin, even Fang for, all the ambassadors. I think they're listening now. I think it's been quite interesting. We talk about not meeting, but everyone who's in Malaysia, they actually already met Jasmine and maybe Charmaine or Danny. And everyone in Singapore, they may be looking to actually meet Calvin or bump into Calvin in Singapore already. So we may not meet cross borders, but I think everyone in the country has already, organized so many drinking or eating session or catching up. So yeah, I think it's been quite lovely where it started off very seriously. We thought this is, something very serious where, all of us were in either the banking or fintech side. I think every year, I'm not sure about you guys, but every year I get asked, how do I jump into fintech? Why are you so lucky you got into fintech, So it's not about luck, and we want to make it happen for everyone else. So yeah, back to you, Danny or Fang.
Yeah, I might jump to Charmaine and Kelvin. Now, what made you put up your hand to be a board member for the EFintech School?
Because Jasmine asked me to. No, I'm joking. I think I kind of sort of like mentioned a little bit about it briefly earlier, that I really feel that there is a need to give back to community. And to be honest, I'm actually not from the banking industry. I had zero knowledge of the financial services industry prior to Samsung Pay. Zero nuts, right? Because I think for most of you that know me,
I can attest to the fact that she had no knowledge of banking and finance during Samsung Pay days.
Thanks, Calvin. But I've learned a lot, right? And I really, really learned a lot, And at that point of time, I was really lucky as well because I had a lot of guidance working with a lot of like good partners. So one of them was actually Jasmine, and then there's Calvin. And then of course, there are other people that I met from various banks and also from the schemes like MasterCard and also Visa. So, nobody is born to know about everything, right? So I guess, I understand like the pain that I went through. And I really feel that, it's important to then, give back to the community, because I think it took me, or it took us about like 9 to 12 months to actually get Samsung Pay launched in Malaysia. And trust me, when you don't have the in-depth knowledge about how FSI works, right? And also dealing with Bank Negara, it was really, really a pain. But having said that, I guess, I've always been a fighter, and I decided, whatever doesn't kill me, only going to make me stronger. yeah, and therefore, I've learned a lot, and I just realized I really want to give back to community, and also to encourage people to think that, it's tough, but I think if I can do it, I think a lot of people can do it too. Yeah, so that's why, Calvin, do you want to add on to
I joined because Charmaine told me to join.
Don't copy my answer, can or not?
But it's a fact. No, so Charmaine came to me and said, look, there's this very interesting thing. You're doing something very interesting in SEB at that point in time. And this was at the fledgling period of Nexus. For those of you who don't know, it's all over LinkedIn. Have a look at it. It's and I was doing a lot of work with fintechs and running a lot of platform builds for the bank. And at that point, I'm also, like Charmaine says, looking for an avenue to try to give back. I'm obviously more interested, and in all honesty, very interested in helping foster the local Singaporean talent in fintech. And this was a regional play, so I thought it was a very good platform for me to come here and help as much as I can, even though hand to heart, I've not been the best with regards to attendance and actual help because of life being quite shitty. So if you think BNM is tough, BI and OJK are a lot more fun, guys.
Yeah, so you will hear a lot of terms like OJK and BNM and all that. Google, a bit of advice for the participants. Google is your best friend. I will highly recommend you have a Google window open to put in all the different jargons so that you can get up to speed as quick as possible. We treat you as adults. Yeah, so if you want something, do your best to get that across.
I guess if anybody doesn't understand what we are saying, which in all honesty we are bad and sometimes speak in jargon, please ask the questions. I think this session is very, very relaxed and we can say whatever we want.
Yes, absolutely. So good point. Chat is obviously where you can raise your questions. If you feel free, you want to raise your hand and ask that question in person, that's also very much available. Now, this question is for Danny, since you have a bit of more time on your hands. You would also be able, I know you read a tremendous amount of LinkedIn articles and whatnot, so we'd like to get your view. Since lockdowns have happened, it's changed the nature of how a lot of businesses have become relevant or irrelevant. What changes have you noticed on how business is conducted post-COVID?
Well, I mean, the obvious, the elephant in the room is basically cashless payments, right? I mean, that is, I won't bore you guys with that. That has tremendously progressed, during, I always call it the silver lining of the pandemic, right? The numbers for whether you're e-wallet guys or using your credit card Wave, is, I think it applies to everywhere in Southeast Asia or in Asia, right? I think the other thing that was kind of started to happen, I'll keep it to the fintech space, is I think InsurTech has changed a lot. I think it got expedited with the pandemic. You see very interesting COVID-19 medical packages. You get very cheap PA for general PA. And now I think with the borders opening up, you start getting in Thailand, you need about USD 50,000 insurance to cover. I'm sure a lot of the some of the insurance companies are coming up with things that they never really considered last time. And these are like very short-termish packages and pushing up to the market, right? For those who do trading, I think blockchain kind of went crazy, especially during this period as well. Good luck. Be careful, as I always say. On the physical front, you do see some across the world, right? A lot of big brands actually get impacted. Right? I just came back from London about a month ago, and you do see some big brands actually closing down, even in the main streets of Oxford or Regent Street. So even those big boys are not, did not get escape. You get the smaller ones, right? And in Malaysia, those are in Malaysia, especially in the food side, Mom's Place is closing down, Oriental Craving, One Utama is closing down, Mythology is closing down, Champs, I mean, those who like pork noodle and has closed down, right? So, and these are all established brands, and actually I don't understand why they couldn't survive. And actually one part I could not understand is why are they closing down when things are opening up? That I haven't figured out, to be very frank. If I were there, I would have closed up 1 year ago, but why now? But I couldn't figure out. Maybe they just got tired or something like that. But you will also see, I mean, this you see new even restaurants opening up. You see new convenience shops opening up, or chain like CU, Downtown Donkey, I mean, Pot Boy, and they just, I mean, they're just popping up left, right, center, and back. So I like to think that it's like a, well, I have to say, it's like an earthquake, right? You know, it happens, then it kind of reconfigure things, right, for right or wrong reasons. And that's how I see it. I don't know whether it's good or wrong, but I think, but sometimes it's good to have some kind of shock like this. But next time, please let us travel. You know, this kind of shock without traveling is a problem. Okay, so let's have a virus that allows us to travel. But I mean, for us in terms of economic systems, people's correct, they take for granted in life. You know, this is a good job for everybody, right? Even for my kids who are like in the teens to the older folks, you know. So I think it's a good reminder of things are not so simple, and you know, we have to be prepared for anything.
Okay, thank you, Danny. Jasmine, now as one of the OG advisors of the EFintech School since the start, it has evolved quite a bit. This is our 4th cohort. What are the changes that you've noticed?
The cohorts are quite exciting and also very distinctive. So the first cohorts were very different from the second cohort, which is different from the third cohort, which I believe the 4th cohort will have their own characteristics and personality. One thing is clear, that every cohort does contribute to the community, which is actually quite exciting. Cohort 2 talks a lot, cohort 3 does a lot. So, and then cohort 4 may be the marketing arm that we're looking for, I don't know. Cohort 1 is still there chugging away and doing stuff and all that. So that's one of the things that has come about, and it's been quite exciting. And we've had very experienced lecturers, I guess, for the lack of a better word, those who've come in to teach topics, returning and telling us things like, you know, it's so exciting to come back and see the different groups of people coming together. And the community is not restricted to those who are tech or fin. Actually, people totally outside any of these 2 industries have come in. And the happiest thing for me in this is that because people have joined and committed to the 1 month, they have found courage within themselves to execute the change that they wanted to in their career. And at a time like COVID, you know, Daniel was saying about businesses pivoting, then some of the businesses and their timing, he doesn't understand why. I think on an individual level where the school impacts, we have become an enabler for people to see that pivots in their own personal life and career is possible. And there are groups of people now. We've got 3 cohorts worth of people who have pivoted their career, who started new startups out of the pitch, the graduation pitch, who found new teammates in their startup journey. And for those of us who've been in the startup ecosystem, you know, some of these things take quite a long time to find the right match, to find the right chemistry with people that you can work with, much less online and things like this. So that has been actually really exciting for me to observe in the EFintech School, that when people come together, they've never met each other before. I mean, the board in itself can already tell you an indication, but the relationships get built and the commitment is given. And that's actually really, really remarkable to me.
Very, very cool. Thank you, Jasmine. Charmaine, now you are one of the master networkers over here. Obviously, Jasmine pulled you in and you pulled Calvin in. It's you're the middle person, right? So your network is your net worth. How have you built your extensive network?
That is a very good question. Well, I guess, it's just like, if you see that everyone's not asking question today, I guess it's really important is not to be shy and to be sincere about meeting people, because, the person you say hello to, what's the worst that could happen, right? So I always believe that, there's no harm in being open and having communication with anyone, just about anyone. Of course, my role is also partnerships. But having said that, even Joe, I've seen people who's actually doing partnerships, but they actually discriminate. But for me, I always have this open mind, like no matter how big or how small you are, I'm still open and willing to talk to you. Because you don't know what you know. You don't know what you don't know that's actually out there in the market. And there is always an opportunity to learn from one another. So, it's been like 3 cohorts now, right? And to be honest, I think as much as the participants has been learning, right? But I also find myself that I've actually been learning a lot, from the participants and also from all the other guest lecturers that we have had in the past. So yeah, what I can say is, be open, say hello, don't be shy, because nobody's gonna eat you up, hopefully. Okay, but yeah, I guess, just that's how you actually do networking.
Wonderful advice. So you heard it from Charmaine herself. Please don't be shy. Reach out on chat. This is the most chilled out session. It gets intense from here on out. It can be quite tough. If you want a sympathetic ear, we have got our ambassadors. They are ex-alumni who have put up their hands and say, look, we want to contribute. We've undergone the whole EFintech School, and we'd love to share the experience with you on how to pitch, how to overcome some of the challenges as you go through the course as well. So please, there's a Ask Ambassadors Anything channel on Discord. Feel free to reach out to them. Either that or in their sharing sessions, which are going to be made available on Calendly. Now, Kelvin, you're obviously operating out of Singapore, very much expanding into the region. Which country in APAC excites you the most from a fintech perspective, and why?
Obviously, Singapore is very exciting from the pure number of startups that get funded from and the regulatory environment that allows for it, right? Malaysia, there is obviously some growth. Indonesia is massive, right? Just from a pure market size perspective, even if you get 1% of Indonesia, you're going to be massive from a number of people perspective. So every market has a different strength. Infrastructure and funding in Singapore, pure market size in Indonesia, some ingenuity in Malaysia, and a lot of, how shall we say, well-executed technology companies in Vietnam, right? So from those perspectives, I think each country has a different slant. Personally, if you can pull together the key elements and capabilities across the markets, you have a winner, right? Look at the biggest players in fintech, arguably any kind of platform today. It's like a Grab or the go-to, which operate chiefly out of Indonesia from a market perspective, and everywhere else is like testing for them and they use their hub status in multiple markets to get the right talent. So yeah, that's my simple yet not so simple.
Thank you, Kelvin. We got a couple of questions. Finasia asks, how does one become an ambassador? First steps first, graduate top of your class for the EFintech School. That automatically puts you in the alumni. And then from there, you will be invited to, if you do stand out, if you do ask the questions, if you want to contribute to the community, you don't need to specifically come from fintech or know a lot about fintech. We've got oil and gas engineers, we've got marketers, we've got a tremendous pool of talent. Yeah, it's just about doing your fair share and putting your hand up. The other question is from Lisa. This is for Kelvin, I believe. I'm curious on the banking as a service that provided by SC Nexus. What kind of banking as a service that Nexus provided? Kelvin?
Oh, yeah, very simple. We built out a new technology stack that's the middleware of the bank. Horizontally scalable, runs tens of millions of concurrent users is the idea. And the whole idea behind that is to create infrastructural play. We can go to any fintech, any ecosystem player, and offer them the ability to turn themselves into a bank to their users without having to go through the heavy lifting of becoming a bank. So no need to go apply for digital banking license, get the license, set up the infrastructure, do the reporting, create core banking, blah, 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 blah. Right? It takes 2 years, about 2 years to build the bank. So what we will say is, let's say Grab or Shopee or anyone in Malaysia and say, guys, you want to become a bank, rather than apply for a license, what you do is we plug into our middle layer, use the Standard Chartered Malaysia banking license, and the reporting infrastructure that we already have, and we turn it on for you. I mean, it's not as fast as turning it on, but it takes a couple of months. Booms. Grab Bank or Shopee Bank or whatever bank powered by Standard Chartered becomes live. You can access accounts, statements, do payments, P2P, bank to bank, anything that a bank can do in Malaysia, this bank can do.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to jump over to Tarakvin's question on, could anyone let us know the different roles between the ambassadors, mentors in the cohort? So let me give you a quick rundown. So the Fort Ninja is co-founded by Jenna and me. We then invited our board of advisors, Danny, Jasmine, Charmaine, and Kelvin, to come and join us in this one big party. And then what we do also, we craft out the syllabus, right? And that's where the instructors come in. The instructors are the ones who are the subject matter experts who run the classes. The ambassadors are past graduates of the EFintech School who have been specifically selected to, I guess, contribute additionally based on their I guess, seniority, based on their knowledge, based on their contribution to the community, based on their experience and willing to share. And we feel it's the right mix of the leadership position within the community that we're trying to build. Mentors are subject matter experts in which then you can book your time and have more interactive sessions with them, particularly in, for example, cryptocurrency or banking as a service or Squid Coin, if you want to go down that route. So they are subject matter experts. They can, I see the head shaking on Jasmine's side, they can help you with your project work and your final pitch at the end. So if you want support, if you want perspective, if you want somebody with a listening ear who can give you an opinion or advice specifically on your journey during the tough days that can happen during the EFintech School, that's when the ambassadors sharing sessions can be booked in Calendly. Jumping to Sheng Xi's questions, this is open to all board members, excluding the current industry that you're in or some industry that you've been in the past. What is, if you had a chance to jump into a new venture in a new industry, which industry would that be? Any takers?
Since I'm jobless, let me start first. I would say either InsurTech or, I mean, within the fintech realm, I guess you're talking about. If it's not within fintech, it will be another story. Maybe football manager and everything else. Anyway, within fintech is InsurTech and probably digital banking for me.
Anybody else? One more answer from the board.
Since I'm also technically jobless, I believe digital tech, digital bank and Islamic financing is something that's very interesting. And if I were to rehash a full career in fintech, Islamic financing would be something that I would look at.
Very cool. We have about 15-20 minutes left of the first session before we have the breakout sessions from here. I'm going to do a bit of quick fire questions now. I welcome Danny, Jasmine, Charmaine, and Kelvin. Unmute yourselves right now. This is quick fire questions, so just yell out your answers as quick as possible. No formality in this. All right. Now, space cowboys or life hackers?
Space cowboys.
Hackers.
Kelvin.
Hackers.
Hackers. There we go. Squid Game or My Octopus Teacher?
Squid Game.
Game.
Hunger Game. Forget Squid Game.
Is my octopus teacher.
It's a very good documentary on Netflix. Danny.
Okay, I have time to look at it. Yeah, as I'm jobless.
The movie version or the book version?
Movie.
Book.
Book.
Charmaine.
Sorry, I kind of missed the question.
The movie version
You wanted the animation
or
version.
the book version?
I think you
Oh,
wanted the animation version.
movie.
Movie, okay.
The men are the romantic in the group lah.
Oppa.
We just want instant gratification.
Exactly.
Kelvin, this one's for you and also for Danny. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The easiest way to my heart is through
Alcohol.
dash. Alcohol. Kelvin.
I don't actually know the answer to this one.
Kelvin works too hard.
Yeah.
Jasmine and Charmaine, question for the girls. If I wrote a memoir, it would be called?
Memoirs of a crazy tech hiker, I guess.
Hitchhiker Guides to the Galaxy. I mean,
I think it would be a food and wine tasting guide in the tech.
Ah,
Oh, I
wine
think I want to
tasting in the
rename
tech
mine.
world.
I want to rename mine. Life on
Go for it.
Heels.
Life
Life,
of what, sorry?
Life on high heels.
life on high heels. There we go. Open to Charmaine and Danny. As a business leader, what are the core principles when choosing a partner in business?
I mean, talking about business partner, or, I mean, as in a shareholding partner or a business. I mean,
When choosing to do business with anyone.
as a shareholding partner. I'm going to give you a long story on this. Basically, when you find a partner, you need a partner to be able to nudge each other along the way, because it's going to be bumps up and down here and there. And a good partner will be someone that you trust and you can motivate so that you can, and vice versa, to nudge each other, because each one of you have different downtimes or downside or stuff like this. So for any sustainable, is that you need someone that, aside from all the normal integrity, independent, visionary, all those bullshit stuff, the more important one to me is someone that you can click with, that would actually nudge you along. You can nudge each other so that you can keep momentum and keep going.
Okay, good honest feedback and momentum building. Charmaine.
I think it's important to have the same synergy. But of course, you must have a lot of trust as well. And I also agree with what Danny has said. It's really important that you're going to be able to nudge each other when, anyone is going through a downtime, and also giving each other constructive feedbacks, because, nobody knows everything, right? And I think if you have a partner that you can actually give each other constructive feedbacks, right? That would help in order for you to grow together and learn together. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Kelvin, Brian Ong asks, can you please explain a little bit more on why Indonesia as your prime target? Is it easy to penetrate that market?
if I want to pick easy to penetrate, I would have picked Singapore, guys. No, in Indonesia, because it is huge. It is probably the toughest market to execute in forget ASEAN, probably almost the whole of APAC. So and we are looking at rolling out in a few other markets. Malaysia, Vietnam are all on the roadmap very, very soon. So yes.
I mean, let me add on to that. I mean, from my experience in Indonesia as well, right? Because yes, it's tough, right? We all know it's tough. It's not that easy in Malaysia. It's not that easy in Vietnam as well. But at least you have the market, right? You don't mind being tough when you have, the food at the end of the chain and at the end of the journey, rather than, fighting for something that is small, right? So I think that entices, I mean, plus the funding, blah, 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 and all the other, but there is enough, as they say, meat for everyone to eat, even though you're going to have 10 SC Nexus customers, so to speak, in Indonesia.
Yep. Okay, Jasmine, this one's for you. What are you specifically looking for for a pitch at the end of this EFintech School cohort 4 journey?
I'm looking for something that would, if possible, change the landscape for finance. Really rejig the distribution of power and wealth. So if anybody can hack that would be the one.
There you go. Charmaine, over to you. Innovation is no longer a luxury. Either you innovate or you die. How do you encourage innovation within teams?
How do I encourage innovation within teams? I think, okay, seriously, fine. Why you give me the tough question? Right. I guess, if you want to do better and become better, you can't just follow the lead, right? I mean, you can have very good leaders, but I don't really believe in spoon feeding. I think a lot of times it's like, you gotta read a lot, you gotta look into what's in the market, what's happening, and sort of like, piece things together. Of course, it's tough, but it's like what Jasmine said, right? It's actually looking for all the pain points and also what is a big picture in terms of like what you want to achieve as well. So it's not an easy task, okay? If not, there'll be like, I don't know, millions and millions of like unicorns and decacorns already. But yeah, but it's always about fine-tuning yourself in terms of, how you want to innovate things.
If I can just jump in a little bit.
Go for it.
Yeah. So innovation within teams, first thing is you got to create a safe space. Innovation, you will have mistakes. As long as it doesn't cost you the entire business, it should be allowed to some extent. And then the constant is pushing to be better, to be above the status quo, to be something that the status quo would want to embrace on a better level. So sometimes the status quo may not be the best yard, but always provide a safe space to break and create new boundaries.
I'd also like to welcome Kelvin, since banking as a service is pretty much as innovative as it comes.
My problem is that every day is an innovative day. Today, I had a very innovative day of creating a statement for the regulator. So that is very innovative, how you talk to the regulator. No, the truth is, I think Jasmine is very right. The safe space for innovation is always needs to be there. But my personal view is an underlying requirement of grit is what's most lacking with regards to innovation. Ideas are a dime a dozen. The grit to see your idea through to actual execution, that's what differentiates a true innovator from a daydreamer.
100% agree with that. Speaking about grit, let's move to leadership. For Jasmine and Kelvin, are you a natural born leader or did you learn to lead? Calvin?
I'll go first. I am not a natural born leader. My ideal day at work would be for me to be in a job where I do nothing and get paid well. And then at the end of my day, I go back and read a book at the side next to the pool and watch some Netflix. I'm not a natural born leader. What I do have that is slightly differentiated is that for those of you who do understand or don't understand, I'm picky as hell. So you tell me if something cannot be done, which is what happened at the very beginning of this journey, where people told me this banking as a service thing cannot be done by Standard Chartered Bank, then I'll be like, hold my beer. And that explains the last 4 years of my life and why I look like this now.
There we go. Jasmine.
I'm not a natural born leader. I'm actually an introvert. I tell people this and nobody believes me because according to you, I have a smile that invites people to come and have conversation. On a good day, my good day, like what Calvin says, I do nothing at a job, go home. Actually, better still, I'm working from home, doing nothing, getting paid, and watching a movie, sipping some wine, maybe tasting some new whiskey that some friends have formulated and things like that. Other than that, what actually drove me into, I guess, to a leading environment is a sense of justice. I cannot stand to see fellow human beings treating each other with such inequality and sometimes cruelty. And there is a lot to be said in terms of how finances is distributed. And Calvin may disagree with me because he's in the banking side of things, so will Charmaine, but how we even charge fees, right? And how that translates to affordability and what is right and wrong, rates, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a whole gamut of system at the back of the banking side of things, of which I've been part of for 20 over years, and I understand it a little bit. I believe that the banking industry can do better to even out the landscape and make things a little bit more fairer, a little bit better. And I'm the kind of person, I guess, he's tiki, I'm gangster in that sense. You say is wrong, but you have to accept it. And I say cannot. I cannot accept. I have to do something about it. Otherwise, I cannot sleep.
We should do something together, Tatia.
On anytime.
There we go.
Yes. Wow.
Charmaine, since you're on mute, sorry, keep going.
No, I say Jasmine is my big sister.
Jasmine is everybody starts here. If you reach the level, so make sure you work at it. So a bit of story also, one of our past participants have been trying to get Jasmine's opinion on a couple of things, particularly in the blockchain space, which she's particularly passionate about, to the point where they joined the EFintech School, and then Jasmine had no escape. They hounded her until they came to the classes, right? But building on to the first part of that question, what does a good day look like to you for Charmaine and Danny?
Good day is simple. Beer in hand and Liverpool beats Manchester United 5-0 again.
Ouch! Charmaine.
Good day is like what Calvin said. I don't have to do anything. You know, at the end of the day, just go and chill by the pool, read a book, drink a glass of wine, and that's it. Yep.
Okay. We're down to our last 5 minutes. Speaking of books, what's the best book you've read around the room?
I'll go. I read this book, Thinking Fast and Slow. Really good book. I would recommend it anytime. It gives you an insight in dealing with yourself and also dealing with others, and why we are such a lazy species.
For me, it's a very simple book, The Alchemist. I think most of you know that book.
Yeah, Paulo Coelho. Yes.
Bill Bryson, Notes from a Small Island, one of the funniest books I've ever read, and essentially established the baseline for my sense of humor, even though I read it when I was like 12.
For me, it's gotta be The Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. It has really brought me into like, the food journey. So I really, really love that book. And it's a shame that he's no longer here. But yeah, I love that book.
Charmaine likes to be wined and dined. Hint.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Okay. Again, open-ended question. What is something that you've learned recently?
Can I go with that? I think, okay, maybe it's not something that I've learned recently, but it is something that I think most of us as humans take for granted. I'm not, okay, it's quite a sad story. I have a really good friend who's I've been friends with for more than 20 years. He recently passed away from a heart attack. And it's really, really very sudden. He's very young. He was only 44 years old. So actually, what I want to say is that be present, appreciate things and people that you have in your life. And yeah, I think, yeah. And also, if you haven't gotten yourself checked out lately for medical checkup, please go for it, because that's very important too. Don't take things for granted. Yeah.
Thank you, Charmaine. Anyone else?
It's not something I learned lately. It's guiding philosophy generally. Is this most people feel stressed at work because they feel like the loss of their job is the end of their universe. If you turn it around, and obviously through some prudent financial planning from when you start working, which is always nice, the worst thing that anyone can do to you if you work in a large organization is to fire you. And that's the worst possible thing. None of them can beat you. None of them can, I don't know, smack you. None of them can shoot you, theoretically. Otherwise, they go to jail. But the point is, if you view things through that lens, then the world opens up for every one of us. If the worst thing they can do is to fire you, and you have an ability to get fired, then you should have no fear in terms of approaching what you want to approach. So just to give everyone a brief guideline as to, I mean, I was some random guy in the bank, right? The reason I got this thing up and running was quite simple. I put 5 slides together, say that this is what we need to do, and then I sent an email to bill.winters@se.com. So I think people should dare to do different and dare to make leaps. There is very little that you will lose. If anything, most senior people, if they get something from you, if it's not good, if they don't like it, they'll forget your name after 5 seconds. If they like it, the upside potential is unlimited.
There you go. Don't fear. Oh well, it's what fools go where angels fear to tread. So have a bit of guts, have a bit of tenacity and belief. We have pretty much come to the end of our session. And on that bombshell, I'd like to invite everyone to turn on your cameras. This is a tradition which will happen on a daily basis for the next 5 weeks. You will hear me say this all the time. You're going to get bored about it, but you're going to love it at the end of the day. Cameras on, we're going to take a group picture. And this gives a chance for the rest of your cohort members also to put a name to the face. And later on, after this session, we're going to have the breakout sessions. So therefore, you can also put the personality to the face. I see Steven. Good to see you over here, brother. Cameras on, guys. We're going to get as many people in this. Very good. Lisa, you coming on? Brilliant. So this is going to be from 2 pages. So the first one's going to be from Selby to Adeline. Big smiles. Brilliant. Got the first picture. Bear with me. And going to page number 2. This will be from Ecom Act Pro to Kaban, Sao Kaban. There we go. Kaban in Thai means go home. Here we go, big smiles. And that is it for session number 1.